Born Dead Icons. Outside the Outsiders Clubhouse, the Mr. Roboto Project, October 6, 2003, by Ian Clemente. I walked in and occupied an hour and a half trying to act casual, reading flyers, desperately thinking of ways to start small talk with someone, trying to think of ways not to feel like an intruder. I eavesdropped on conversations, most of which centered on why some band sucked or why some person was wrong. And as people shuffled in, the age span and gender integration surprised me, as did the amount of punks dressed entirely with black sporting imposing logos and confrontational hairdos. Attempting somehow to attract attention to their physical appearance. Whatever preconceptions I initially tried to dispel, the audience immediately confirmed. Welcome to the Mr. Roboto Project. I know for a fact that is not my sentence. The show started an hour late and everyone rose reverently as Suburban Death Machine tuned their instruments. Roboto co-op member and SMD guitarist Ian Ryan introduced the first song, saying, "The song's about vivisection and how fucked up it is." With that, the band made a sloppy entrance into their first song, which oddly enough sounded like a song about vivisection. I can't accurately explain that, you'll have to trust me. Also, not mine. SMD's music focused on power chords, bass lines, and vocal melodies that consistently mirrored each other as the drummer kept a purposely sloppy beat. The song structures varied little from one to another, and neither did the tempos. Most of their songs were around a minute and a half long. SMD writes tunes about pertinent social issues, which is mildly intriguing as far as I'm concerned. But I found two problems. Whoever mixed the boards mixed the vocals so poorly, placing an emphasis on volume that any political message was drowned in the monotonous thrashing. Secondly, and honestly, I feel that politics provides a weak premise for weak music, which is exactly what SMD presented. I enjoyed, however, the rhythmic quality of the guitarist work and the energy. Dan, a lead vocalist, who paced a lot and assaulted audience members on occasion. While exhibiting slightly more range than SMD and sharing the same basis, Aphasia presented dragged-out, indulgent songs probably about how much the world sucks. I think that is mine. That's not nice. The band broke pace in between several songs, attempting to tune up and never really got there. The vocalist strived to be tough and sexy, often hanging an arm around an audience member and pouting her lips before dramatically falling to her knees, screaming. Lots of screaming. While this music obviously meant something to the band, I couldn't get into it. Maybe I placed too much emphasis on a memorable melody. I read an article hanging on the wall in which a writer from a major Pittsburgh newspaper labeled Roboto as pummeling and unpretentious, in a place as far from the trappings of mainstream rock music can get. I wanted so badly to believe that, but so many obstacles stood in my way and eventually overcame me. First of all, that statement is full of pretense, so how can it tell me where to avoid it? Secondly, throughout the night, those that knew and accepted each other at Roboto danced repetitively in a circle, making the same gestures and faces as if on cue. Apparently, a certain code exists for being punk, and well, that's pretension to me. While discussing the concert a day later, that's very inaccurate. While discussing the concert a day later, the U frontman Josh Verbanitz remarked, "Sometimes I think Roboto is cool, but then I get there and find it's sort of the place where people make fun of your band while you're playing." Several other bands outside the co-op agree with this. Who cares? Also, I asked Josh about this 2 weeks ahead of time. For example, I heard a member of SMD refer to Lefraction, the headliner of the show, as a dancey pop band. The reason For this, I'm assuming, is that the lead singer, Magali, introduced the first 4 songs as love songs and smiled through the whole set, obviously excited to be there. Refraction came to Roboto from France with a significant amount of years, talent, and fun on the previous 2 bands, getting even me, the disillusioned, jealous critic. Dancing and smiling with succinct, heavy, melodic, and diverse rock. After the band set, Magali told me, "Next time we come back, hopefully we'll understand this country better." Out of all the members of the bands to whom I offered Deek as a platform, she's the only one who said something other than no. The night's main headliners, born dead icons from Montreal, embodied everything the 2 local bands of the night wanted: powerful vocals, tight riffs, a strong sense of songcraft. Yes, that is attainable in the hardcore genre. And an intuitive, alert drummer. Most of the audience stood in either exhaustion or awe as beady eyes swept with very little talking in between songs through a fantastic set. They even kept my attention in the midst of my fretting over the absence of buses, misspelled. After the show, I stood on a corner in reality of the absence of buses, exchanging extended glances through car windshields with everyone who performed or attended that night, many of them obviously questioning my presence in theirs. Well, I didn't expect the ride home. I thought that since hardcore punk espouses a rhetoric of brotherhood, someone seeing me in the unfortunate situation of shivering on a street corner in Wilkinsburg might inquire the state of my safety. I supported their fucking hobby earlier. That's the thing. I did not use the word fucking in this article at all. That was definitely, I remember, added afterwards. Very, what it is, to my chagrin. Ian Ryan was friendly whenever I asked him a question, but it seems the scene appeals to me and includes certain people, and those not fulfilling preset expectations is unimportant. Maybe no one even recognized me from the show. Maybe I'm wrong the next time I go back. Hopefully I'll understand Roboto better. I think just the only other point to make is that there was a whole first paragraph, not a good one, but just about how, like, you know, what follows is just my opinion. This is definitely not fact, and it's definitely me coming from, like, the opposite side of the street. And so I don't know why they leave that paragraph out, but then this totally sort of irrelevant one at the very end about buses. Who gives a shit what happens after the show? Anyway. It's a shitty article, and I'd sort of want to beat my own ass after reading that.